Okay, then what's the problem with this particular arrangement of list and map and all the other collection classes? Well, first of all, you'll notice that we've had to put object everywhere as the type being stored because basically we don't know what the type is that's going to be stored. So we've had to use object everywhere, and as a result of that, it means we've had to cast every time we pull something out from the list or whatever it is. We've had to cast it to be whatever the particular type was, and all this is potentially dangerous. It's got a lot of problems that could occur. So you could, for example, find errors cropping up if you tried storing numbers or something into a list of it was a list of strings. You'd find that it would give an error, but only when you try and pull it back out would you get the error, because then you try casting thing to string it would be a number, and you'd get all sorts of problems. So it's all unsafe. Now you might think, well, is there a solution to that? And if you try, you'll see there isn't a solution. For example, if you were to try and subclass array list, so we've got something called myList, which stores only things of type myType, then you might start writing it like that, but very soon you'll come to realize that this doesn't solve the problem at all, because you can still store objects, because all you've done is overload the set method, for example. So there's still a set method which exists. It exists in ArrayList, of course, and it has object in, so you could still end up storing objects in the list. So that approach doesn't solve the problem at all. So what about trying this down here? Let's try and be a little bit more clever here. We've got myList, and now inside of myList we've got this array list that's now private, and when we do set or something, all it does is uses the code in ArrayList here. So it uses the code that's in list to store the object and get it out again and cast it appropriately and return it to the to whoever the caller user of myList is. Well, of course that solves that problem, but it introduces another problem, and that is that there are lots of parts of the system which expect to use a list or an array list of some sort, and of course they can't do it now because myList is not an array list, nor is it a list. So that's no longer really a valid approach either, and this is where we come to the justification for generics, because it's generics that solves this problem, and that's what I'll come to next.